Thank you.
Shall we get in one?
Sure.
The timer?
Charlene?
I think we should all get in one if you can do that.
Can you see the hands very well on the little viewer finder there?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed from different angles they look real white, and other angles they look real kind of grayish and not so obvious. It's an interesting appearance.
The kid's in it. We did this just in time. Oh yeah. Whether it will or not, I have no idea, but I think it's... Not if it has another 10 minutes. Hey, you kidding? Where else do we get to the same concrete fiber? You have to put yours in too.
Nobody's to put any initials in the cement. Carl, cut it out. Carl, get out of the cement. Get him to stop, so I had to climb up here. Now we're all going to have to put our initials in the cement.
Just because Carl did.
That's right.
I got a piece of something
Somewhere. What did you say?
We put to be recorded here for posterity that Charlene is immersed in bliss, a divine state of grace, because we agreed with where she wanted to put the stone. Intuitively, we all felt an innate call to us. This spot is where energy lines cross.
Yeah, right. You didn't want to carry it up the hill.
We didn't want to carry it up the hill, but we didn't have to because we sensed intuitively the right place to adjust the stone.
Did you say adjust?
Yes. 9/18/97.
That is today, Founders Day.
You said 9/18. It's 9/19, isn't it? I don't know. Earlier, and I said
Today is the 18th of September. The first adjustment was performed on September 18th, 1895.
Do you have any questions you'd like to ask about our little adventure?
I was going to ask you just to sum up what happened to D.B. Palmer after he left.
After he left Sweet Home, there was a disastrous winter in 1880-81 that he lost his entire bee operation, and he decided it was time to move on. He then moved with his family to What Cheer, Iowa, which is where his father and mother had originally moved many years earlier. And he started a grocery store, at which point he developed a process for shipping goldfish, which was used for 70 or 80 years to ship goldfish around. And some of the disparaging remarks about him being a fishmonger came from him raising and selling goldfish around. Very self-educated man. His formal education ended about age 10, but he was reading Greek and Latin. He was, by our standards, very well educated. He was left in, an interesting tidbit, him and his brother were left in Canada by the family, presumably because, this would have been at age 10 and age 8, presumably because they had jobs. The market up there, job market, was flooded with Americans fleeing the imminent and upcoming Civil War, and it wrecked the economy, the local economy up there. And so his family moved to Iowa, and it took his brother and him about
several years,
8 or 10 years to catch up with the rest of the family. Nowadays we think that's pretty amazing, but we're hoping to be able to fill in the story about who they lived with, how they were cared for when they were still up in Canada. We're hoping also to fill out his one-room schoolhouse teaching days, which is an extraordinary source of information. We have lists of his students, lists of the things that he wrote on the blackboard, wisdom that he thought about how to teach. In the process of this, we came up with the rules and regulations governing teachers and pupils from 1862 that he would have been working under in his teaching contract, which is part of what we're writing up in the next article, because it's very interesting. Disciplining students was a whole different thing back in the frontier days, and they gave specifications on how wide or how narrow the strap could be that you could hit the child with, and that you needed to separate them from the rest of the students before you used it, and all these sorts of things. Fascinating man. He spent many years doing many things, and it was when he was in Whatshire, Iowa, that he became interested in magnetic healing, what we now call magnetic healing, which was also an outgrowth of his interest in spiritualism. It was very much connected in those days. And during his magnetic healing practice in Burlington, Iowa, and then in Davenport, is when he went on to develop chiropractic.